In a relationship, do you ever find yourself saying sorry, like all the time? ADHDers can apologize a lot. We can be forgetful, we can be disorganized, we can misspeak, we can zone out during conversation, we can get upset, we can forget important dates. There's a lot of things that in a neurotypical world can piss people off. And when we do make mistakes, we can lean on one simple word: sorry. And it can come from a good place, but over time, it can cause a lot of invisible damage to relationships. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 3 main reasons why sorry is so insidiously damaging, and I'm going to give you the simple framework to use instead. As an ADHD, we can apologize all the time, and we can do it without even thinking about it. The problem is that despite its good intentions, if you are saying sorry all the time, it actually has the opposite effect that we want it to. The intent is to show understanding, to show that you understand the impact your actions had on the other person. Then there's responsibility, which shows that you take responsibility for the actions that you took. And then there's repair. It shows that you're committed to wanting to make things better. The problem is that saying sorry doesn't actually do any of those things. And over time, the more that you say sorry, the more meaningless it becomes. I want you to think of a time that you heard a famous person say sorry really, really badly. There's a lot of terrible celebrity apologies out there, so it's not that difficult to find. But usually what happens is they say sorry, and then they continue to explain about why they did what they did. So they do technically apologize, but the word itself is kind of meaningless because they undermine all of these 3 things. So as an ADHD, when we say sorry all the time, we use the word, but it doesn't actually show understanding, responsibility, or repair. And I just want to say up front that I'm not saying to never apologize. What I'm saying is that overusing the word sorry is damaging, and there are better ways to deal with it, which we're going to jump into. So apologies impact 3 things. They impact ourselves, they impact our partner, and they impact the relationship. So first up, it impacts ourselves. Saying sorry a lot can have good intent, but saying it over and over can actually reinforce a lot of negative beliefs in ourselves. So first up, we apologize, and then we feel guilt. So we spend time feeling like we're a bad person because we've upset somebody else or we've done something bad. We spend time feeling feelings, which is good, but we're not reflecting productively. And this guilt can lower our self-esteem because we spend time reflecting on being a bad person. We feel worse about ourselves. We question our own character and our own abilities. We think things like, I'm a bad person, I hurt people, I can't do anything right. And we start to blame ourselves. And this blaming ourselves means that we can lose trust in ourselves. The more that we say sorry, the more that we are rewiring our brain that we are doing something to apologize for. So our self-esteem, aka how much we value or perceive ourselves, starts to get lowered. And as it gets lowered, that means that we can start to overcompensate. So we can make a lot of promises either to ourselves or to our partner because we think to ourselves, our intent wasn't to make a mistake, so we feel like we should make up for it next time. We should overcompensate rather than go the opposite way and get to the root of the issue. So we put energy into the wrong areas. And this means that we overcommit to a lot of surface level changes. And this can lead to burnout. And then we become overwhelmed, which means that we fail more. Because we're exhausted trying to spin lots of different plates at once, inevitably we end up not being able to spin all of those plates. And some of those plates come crashing to the ground. And this reinforces the idea that we're not capable, which means that we have to apologize more to people. So overall, this cycle can build up a feeling inside that we need to make up for all the things that we're apologizing for. We overcompensate, we burn out, and this subconsciously impacts us. We feel a lot of shame and guilt. It lowers our self-esteem. Constantly saying sorry can make a person feel like they're always wrong. So it has a massive impact on ourselves. And it impacts your partner. It can undermine trust. If you're always apologizing, it can make it hard for people to trust our judgment. It also steps over our partner's feelings and starts to breed resentment. And it stifles honest communication. It can prevent an open and honest dialogue about real issues. So here's what I mean by that. So here's the event that happens. Now, partner feels upset. What they want to happen is to be able to just express their feelings, to be able to say, hey, this hurt me. I feel sad. I feel upset. I feel scared. All of these things. And eventually, potentially, maybe get to some sort of resolution and then be able to move forward. But when you apologize all the time, this is what's happening. The event happens, your partner gets upset. They want to express their feelings. They want to maybe get to a resolution and eventually move forward. But what happens is that your partner's upset, and by saying sorry, it's skipping to the moving forward part. It's basically saying to your partner, hey, let's not talk about these things. Let's not discuss all the nitty-gritty and talk about how I did something wrong or how you feel. Let's just move forward. So apologizing all the time skips the middle bit of the expressing feelings and potentially getting to some sort of resolution. All of the difficult parts. And over-apologizing impacts the relationship. It dilutes the apology's value. Saying sorry too much can make it less meaningful for when you really need to apologize. It's kind of like the boy who cried wolf. And it can destroy emotional safety. Over-apologizing subconsciously reinforces to your partner that the next time that they have an issue, they may not even mention it because they know that it's just going to get apologized away. And this can breed resentment. So you have the original problem, which is the thing that triggered the event that you apologize for. And by apologizing all the time, you then create a new problem of your partner being unable to speak about it. Because by constantly apologizing, it subconsciously reinforces to your partner that the next time that they do have an issue, you'll probably just do the same thing. You'll probably just say sorry. And if you don't have emotional safety, which is the outer ring, that means that they can't even talk about the original problem. And this is what overly apologizing does. It destroys emotional safety. It creates more problems. So what do we do instead of apologizing? Before we jump in on that, if you do want to learn more about relationships and communication that I work on with Ultra Normal members, then I'm inviting you to come and join us on the free Relationships Bootcamp, which I'll link to in the description down below. So how do we replace apologies? Well, there are 5 simple steps which will avoid all of these problems and foster a much better environment within your relationship. And it can turn any negative situations into positive ones. So step 1 is express thanks. When your partner gives you negative feedback or expresses that they're upset, say thank you instead of saying sorry. What this does is this reinforces to your partner that they can express their feelings without any negative consequences. So the simple act of thanking your partner for expressing themselves is the best first step into starting to build that emotional safety. Step 2 is acknowledgement. This is where you can show understanding of feelings and the situation. So you can acknowledge the situation. You can say something like, I understand that this isn't what we planned. I understand that this situation has disrupted our day. You can also acknowledge feelings. I can totally understand why you'd be upset right now. This is validating how your partner would feel in this situation. And if you want a deeper dive into validation, then I'll link to a video above. And this is actually more effective than a simple sorry. This is showing emotional intelligence as to why your partner would be expressing their feelings in the way that they're expressing them right now. So if you cast your mind back to why we say sorry, it's all about showing understanding. But sorry doesn't show understanding. Whereas if you're actually actively acknowledging feelings in the situation, you're showing, not telling. You're showing that you understand the impact on feelings and on the situation as a whole. And this is much stronger than simply saying the word sorry. And step 3 is, if you don't understand the feelings or the reaction, then you can go into data collection mode. You can ask questions. So again, instead of apologizing, you can ask, can you help me understand what it is that you're feeling right now? Can you help me understand your perspective? This seems to have had a big impact on you. Can you help me understand that? This shows your partner that you are valuing their insight and you're not simply just skipping over to the moving forward stage. And then from all of that feedback, you can then go back to step 2 and you can process it and take the time to show that you understand. Hey, I totally understand how you would be upset by the situation now because you've just told me X, Y, Z, A, B, C. So data collection is really important to be able to process all of the context and ideas and feelings of the situation and why your partner may be so upset right now. And again, this is more powerful than simply saying the word sorry. Next step is do not offer solutions right now. Take the time to figure out the root of the cause, where things have failed and how you can improve things moving forward. You don't need to sit there and say sorry. You can take your time to process, to think about things, and to let your partner express those feelings. You know, a lot of us, especially as a guy, we can jump to the solution stage really quickly. We can want to skip over the feelings and just jump straight to the let's move forward. But you can't move forward without understanding the root cause, the root challenge that has happened. And this means holding off on solutions until you can both process things fully before you can move forward. And then you can offer to revisit the conversation another time once you've thought about it, once emotions have maybe died down a little bit. And just know that revisiting the conversation is not about avoiding arguments. These conversations still need to happen. These are crucial conversations. And if you want to learn more about why it's important to still have tough conversations, then I will leave you with this video right here. I'll see you over there.